Hello everyone, what's going on? It's Sal Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing great. Everyone's doing fine. It's a massive week for Manchester United, isn't it? You know, we're counting down the days, the hours, the minutes to the game on Thursday night against Athletic Bilbao. The meltdown from the media continues to show its ugly self. I mean, I've had so many messages in regards to Man United don't deserve to be in the Champions League. They are 15th in the Premier League. How could they be in the Champions League next season? Well, that is the way it is. That is how football should be. Win things and you qualify for the big competitions. Champions of something. Champions of something. You're not a champion if you're fourth. You're not a champion if you're third. You're not a champion if you're second. You're a champion if you win things, basically. So, look, I have always been an advocate for that. I have always been felt there should be an incentive to win a trophy. And you know what? I feel like United deserve to be there. Man United, the Champions League is nothing without United in there, and I feel like we need to be there. I mean, because we're the entertainment at the end of the day, guys. Thank you for joining. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash a like on the video. It's great. I mean, what is glaring for me, glaringly obvious, is the fact that the hatred that still exists in regards to Manchester United. We are still the most hated team in England, which is funny, isn't it? It makes you laugh because we actually put England on the map in regards to football around the world and stuff. So especially in particular the last 30 years. And, I don't know why we are so disliked. I mean, I've got Man City fans coming at me, and I'm talking about Man City fans. Man City with 115 charges, they got to go to court. Haven't they cleared their court cases yet? I don't think teams who have court cases should be in the Champions League. Myself, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So I don't think that they should be talking about our club, to be honest. And I don't think Arsenal should either, because at the end of the day, Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League. When was the last time Arsenal were in the Champions League as champions? At the end of the day, when was the last time Arsenal win the Champions League as champions? So there you go. It's ridiculous. Let's read some of your comments, guys. Big up, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sanjay. Hope you're good. Good to see you. If they're off that kind of money, there you go. I've got a poll on the stream, guys. A poll in regards to Bruno Fernandes. Big up. Big up, Sanjay. Big up, Pearl. What's going on? 150 million, says Pearl. Ooh, there you go. That is that's enticing. For a 31-year-old, would you do it? Look, I'm going to get into that. Big up, Ricardo. Buendia, Ricardo. Is it Buendia? Buendia. Big up, Bondia. Big up, Ricardo. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Shalom, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. I don't want to sell Bruno for 100 million. For God's sake, Saudi offered 100 million for Matoma. 150 million or nothing. I would say, there you go. Big up, Shah. Big up yourself. Amir, good to see you. United is nothing. Who would be the place, and plus would there be a captain realistically? Now I'm going to get into this very, very strong debate. Obviously, there were this rumor about Bruno Fernandes going to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. So that means that Al Hilal has basically given Manchester United a blank check for Bruno Fernandes, of course, and they really want Bruno Fernandes now. What do I make of this? Bruno Fernandes is 30, going on 31, if I'm not wrong. I would say that we can't sell our best players yet because we don't have replacements for those best players. I don't trust Ineos and I don't trust the Glazers to put that money towards our squad. Now, if I was guaranteed that money that Manchester United make would go straight into the squad and we'll get replacements, then fine. But Manchester United, the biggest concern for me is the lack of experience. Man United don't have experience. Bruno Fernandes is one of the few people within our team that has experience. We got a lot of young players, but we have no experience. So it is obviously, it all depends on where the money goes. Firstly, how much we're going to get. As my guy Shah said, if it's 150 million, I mean, yeah, we'll take that. But you know what? Other than that, if it's not anywhere near that money, as my guy said, Matoma was 100 million, they're trying to offer, then I don't think we should really be selling. The biggest, as I said, the biggest concern for me is that if we did sell a player like Bruno Fernandes, which will be a disgrace anyway, will that money go towards the team? Will it go towards players? Or will it go into the pockets of Ineos or the Glazers? because that is what could happen. You know, I remember when we sold Cristiano Ronaldo and replaced them with duds. You know, I mean, I know that Antonio Valencia became a good player for Man United, but it was nowhere near Cristiano Ronaldo level, was it? At the end of the day, we signed the likes of Gabriel Obertan and Michael Owen and things like that. You know, we need to ensure that we get the money, that we spend that money on that team and build the team up. You can sell Bruno by all means for a lot of money. That's fine. That happens in football, but they need to be replaced. Absolutely. Ashik, big up, Amir. How you doing? Bruno will be a Man United legend. Mark my words. He already, I mean, is Bruno a Man United legend? He's a Man United great. Amir, let me tell you something about a legend. Man United legend are players who win things. Players who win Champions Leagues and league titles. Bruno Fernandes will forever go down as a Manchester United great, even to this day. He'll be a Manchester United great. There's a difference between the likes of Sir Bobby Charlton, Eric Cantona, and Bruno Fernandes. There's a big difference between that. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Of course, he's a great player, very important for Manchester United. Let's not get overly zealous. He is a very important player for Man United. David Beckham's a legend. Paul Scholes is a legend. Eric Cantona is a legend. These players are legends because they did it at Man United. They did it. In regards to players who currently play for Manchester United now, we cannot call any of those players who currently played for Man United now as Manchester United legends. That would be disrespectful to what has gone before them. You know, teams who won trebles, Champions League, multiple league titles. You know, so what is Ryan Giggs then? If that, you know what I mean? What is there something above a legend? You know, is it elite? United won't be able to replace Bruno's goals and assists in the EPL even with 100 million, but we should sell him after 2 years. Ashik, this is the biggest problem, isn't it? And I agree in many aspects about that replacing Bruno Fernandes would be extremely difficult. Bruno Fernandes, type player, doesn't come around every single day, every single week, you know, every single year, you know, every single decade, you know. And we've had players come to Manchester United who had big hype, you know, but didn't deliver, you know, at the end of the day. And I feel like he's one player that has delivered for Manchester United consistently, I would say, over the period of 12 years. Over the period, I mean, not 12 years, sorry, but about 8 years. Over the period of about 8 years, he's delivered for Man United. He's been the only one who has well and truly delivered for our football club. And to be honest with you, I mean, we shouldn't really be selling players for that. But if an astronomical amount of money comes in, I cannot trust Ineos not to accept the offer. I cannot. The one thing I would say is that if Bruno Fernandes was sold, there will be an extremely intense eye on Ineos to deliver this summer, to deliver. And we're not only talking about, you know, these young players that are coming in, these project players that are coming in. We're talking the likes of Gutierrez, Osman. Do you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the likes of Trincao, the likes of these Turkey, these players coming into the football club. We're looking at those type of football club, those type of players. And I don't trust Ineos and I don't trust the Glazers to make that happen if we lost the likes of Bruno Fernandes. So I think accepting it without a replacement would be a disgrace, to be honest. Shah, Ineos rubbing their hands with £100 million. You know what? As I said, look, you know, Ineos have proven to us and they've proven to the club that they are only interested in money. They're only interested in their pockets. That's it at the end of the day. And what I would say is, if they sold Bruno Fernandes, if they did sell Bruno Fernandes, it would be incredibly interesting this summer. It would be incredibly interesting to what they're doing. The toxicity, the intensity surrounding United's transfer window will be absolutely astronomical, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely astronomical, and it's funny. I mean, if they did that, and you know, I just don't think it's going to happen. What if 100 million offer goes to the stadium but not the transfer? That would be a disgrace. I'm not interested in the stadium. Absolutely, Shah. I'm not interested in the stadium. I think that Man United need to build a team before they need to think about this stadium that we're building that looks like a bloody circus. Right? I don't want to know about the stadium, to be honest with you. And I want to know about a successful football pitch. That's it. A successful football team. That's what I want to know about. I want to know about a successful football team. That's what I want to know about. I don't want to know about the stadium that's coming or what refurbishments. And I think these are important in the long run, but why don't we build our stadium organically? Why don't we become successful on the pitch, which will in turn create funds for the stadium, just like Alex Ferguson used to do? Why don't we do that? And you know that if we're successful on the pitch, it does help with everything. Commercial, revenue, profits, FFP, PSR. It helps with everything if we're successful on the pitch. And that should be the most important thing for Manchester United at the moment, of course. A bit of other news in regards to Franco Mastantuono. Manchester United are ready to test River Plate's hand in regards to the 17-year-old Argentinian wonder kid. Of course. And he of course, is showing interest from the likes of Real Madrid and other teams in Europe. Manchester United have stolen a march on Franco Mastantuono because Real Madrid have not put Franco Mastantuono as their priority signing. So Manchester United are testing the waters with River Plate, and don't be surprised if Manchester United make their move this summer in regards to the player. The player is probably the most highly rated Argentinian player, young Argentinian player in South America. And to be honest with you, I would be happy with that type of signing. Again, it is a project signing. It is a project signing. So it's something that we must be wary of. He's not the finished article. He's playing in Argentina. I would like it if Man United did bring in this player. I would. And maybe loan him out. You know what I mean? Maybe loan him out, bring him in. But then again, do we have the funds to have that type of luxury to do that? I don't think we do, to be honest with you guys. Absolutely not. Almat, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. If Real Madrid can sell Casemiro, Chelsea can sell Eden Hazard, and Liverpool can sell Coutinho, why is Bruno untouchable? Bruno has only 2 or 3 years left. No one's saying he's untouchable, Almat. The difference between Manchester United and Chelsea and Real Madrid is the fact that Chelsea and Real Madrid will replace Bruno Fernandes. I don't trust Ineos or the Glazers to replace Bruno Fernandes. I'm talking about value for value. You know, we sell Bruno for 100 million, we get a 100 million player in. I can't trust Ineos to do that. I cannot trust Glazer to do that. And I think the most of the community are worried about that, not the fact that we're selling Bruno. No one is untouchable at Manchester United. We sold Cristiano Ronaldo. We sold David Beckham. Much bigger players than Bruno. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it is all about, are we going to replace these players? Because we all know when Ronaldo left Man United, who replaced Ronaldo? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And this is the overriding concern. He's priceless. Captain Magnifico. Nobody is priceless, unfortunately. Bruno's own centre, great. United, great, but not a legend. Have some fans forgotten what I mean in a legend? I know, Shah. Exactly, Shah. We have to be careful what we're saying here. I know that many people here and around have not witnessed legendary status at Man United. They've not seen Manchester United winning Champions Leagues, winning Premier Leagues, winning doubles, trebles. They haven't seen that. This is why they don't really grasp. It's not their fault. They don't really grasp what a legend is. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. If Bruno Fernandes went on to win the Champions League, if he went on to win the Premier League title with Manchester United, we could argue and say that he's a legend because he played in the time that it was difficult and then he brought Man United up to winning the league and stuff like that. But at the moment, just like the likes of Lou Macari and players like that, I will call them greats, not legends, in my opinion. He will stay, Kenny. I mean, obviously, this news that has been going on with how Al Hilal has a little bit of legs, but I just can't see it happening. I really can't see it happening. I don't see it moving forward. Definitely not. Amir is not for sale because iconic at Manchester United. Nobody is untouchable, Amir. Manchester United above any player, of course. We have to remember that. Salam, bro. Big up. Walaikum salam. Sid, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up to your show. I would sell Bruno for 150 million. For Morgan White, 65 million. Wharton for 70 million. What do you think? And also, have you heard the player linked to the name Fermin Lopez at Barcelona? Yes, I spoke about Fermin Lopez yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday, Sid. Big up, Sid, by the way. I spoke about Fermin Lopez the other day, and I don't think it's got any legs, to be honest with you. I don't think Man United are going to do that deal. In regards to your suggestion of 65 million for Gibbs, Wharton for 75 million, look, you know, at the end of the day, whatever player we want as Man United fans, right? subjectively, we can have any player we want. Like, you know what, we like certain players. We all like certain players. I myself like Cherky and Mastantuano. I like those type of players that we can build in who will be a lot cheaper, and we can probably get more for our buck, if you know what I mean. But what I would say in regards to Manchester United, if we did sell Bruno, is that money going to go towards the team fully? Are we going to get the 100 million or the 150 million would be, almost 150 million would be almost, we can't reject that sort of money. But is that 100 million going to go towards the squad, or is it going to go in the Glazers' pocket and Ineos' pocket? That is the concern that we're having. We can have names out there. We can have our favorites, and everything. But you know what? That's what it is. Guys, wait for me a second. Yeah, I've just got to collect a delivery, guys. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Thank you, guys, for being patient. Had to collect a delivery. Oh, goodness me, running up 8 flights of steps isn't ideal. Amir, Casemiro's a legend for Real Madrid. When we look at Casemiro, he's not a legend for Man United. Goodness me, because he needs to win the league and Champions League at Man United. He's a legend for Real Madrid. All right, Shah. So, is there a time where we have to stop relying on Bruno and build a team that just plays as a team? Yes, Shah, there is, at the end of the day. I would say there is a time where we have to start thinking of moving on. When a player reaches 30, like Sir Alex Ferguson, what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do, he used to not sign players above 30. I think there was only a few players here and there that he signed above 30. I think Teddy Sheringham was one of them. But Teddy Sheringham was more like an impact player. And the thing with Teddy Sheringham is that he wouldn't run a lot in the game, but he was very smart, intelligent in regards to coming on the substitute. When a player gets to 30, 31, we do have to think like that, Shah. We do have to think about how are we going to replace Bruno. Now, this has been the biggest issue of Manchester United over the last decade, replacing players. We never really replaced Robin van Persie. We've never really replaced certain players in our team. The likes of Vidic, the likes of Ferdinand, these players. We tried, but I don't think we've replaced them efficiently. And I think Man United need to now concentrate on finding a replacement for Bruno in the future. Whether that's this summer, whether that's next summer, nobody, and I mean nobody, is untouchable at Manchester United. Nobody is untouchable. Now, what I would love Bruno Fernandes to win that Europa League, go into the Champions League next season, have a great season next season, and we see what happens from there. But right now, when we're looking at Man United right now, we are looking at a team that has no experience, right? We're looking at a team that has no numbers, assists, goals. We're lacking severely. So if Bruno left, how are we going to compensate from that? How are we going to compensate for the fact that we've lost those goals, we've lost those assists and things like that, which is a big problem. But as I was speaking about before I left, before I had to get a delivery, Man United are interested in Franco Mastantuono. Real Madrid have eased off a little bit in regards to Franco Mastantuono. Manchester United are going to test River Plate's resolve in regards to the player. The player has openly said he would like a move to Real Madrid, but would be open to a move to Manchester United if the release clause, which is about 38 million euros, is met. So don't be surprised if Man United, that deal accelerates a little bit. Don't be surprised if that deal happens, because at the end of the day, very talented player, but another project player, isn't he? Another project player. Another player that Manchester United has come on the radar is a young lad named Christian Cofane. Christian Cofane is a Albacete player who plays in Spain. He is a Cameroon international centre forward. He's only 18 years old. Albacete playing Liga 2 in Spain. Another project player. He would, his market value is about 200,000. He's not worth a lot of money. But Man United have been scouting Cofane intensively over the past few weeks. And he is said to be a future superstar. But if, what, when, how, at the end of the day. And Cofane is just a centre forward, of course, for Cameroon. Relatively unknown. He's an unknown quantity. But obviously, Manchester United see something in Cofane. So they see something in him. And I'm all for these signings, as I've always said. I'm all for these type of signings. But I do believe that Man United need a little bit of experience in there. We need to sign some experience as well, guys. That's what we need to do as well, to be honest with you. And this is why I'm a big advocate for, experience up front, in particular up front. Now, speaking of up front, Manchester United are said that Gyökeres will be their number one striking target if Manchester United qualify for the Champions League via the Europa League. If Manchester United win the Europa League, Gyökeres is said to be Manchester United's number one target. Now, that depends, obviously, if Manchester United win the Europa League. Now, we know that Man United win the Europa League. Man United could get 70 million for transfers. That money could go towards a world-class striker like Gyökeres, and that would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? Looking at the young players in our squad, they're good young players. I myself, I'm a big Musa fan. I think Musa's going to be a great player. Musa played with Lamine Yamal, guys. So, you know what? He comes from the same mold. So he scored 6 goals in the youth not too long ago. So why don't we go give him a little bit of game time here and there on the bench? Kamarson and Montato will be in the Manchester United squad for Thursday. They are said to be very, very important to Ruben Amorim's plans for the rest of the season, guys. Absolutely. Ephraim. Good morning, Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing a difficult to Bruce at this time. At this time, definitely. Amak. Bruno has to been the greatest United player over the last decade, but taking emotion out of it makes sense to replace it with a younger talent. I know it's unpopular opinion. Almac, it's an intelligent opinion. Almac, it's an intelligent opinion. And I'm not going to throw your opinion away and say that's not, because I kind of agree with that. We have to look at things, and we have to look at things diplomatically and subjectively, and look at things for the club, right? The only problem is that if Ineos and Glazers put that money towards the squad, the team, because that's what we need. That's what we need. And I hope they do. I really do. Ricardo, Bruno Fernandes will be 31 years old. He will play at the high level until he's 34. Selling for 100 million, it was an excellent financially, but sportingly, it will be a step backwards, in my opinion. Ricardo, you make a good point. As I said, this is very subjective, and this is a touchy subject in regards to Man United fans. This is a very sensitive issue that people are saying, but I'm not sensitive. I'm not PLEA FC. I'm Manchester United FC. I look at things on the future. But as I said, if you can find a player as good as Bruno, younger than Bruno, then we're all for it. But where does that player come from? Where are we going to find that player? You know, we can name players. We can name Trincao. We can name Cherky. We can name Mastantuano. We can name these type of players. But Cunha and you know, Mbeumo, are they going to be as good as Bruno? Are they going to be as good? What do you think? You know, because at the end of the day, we have to replace these Bruno with someone like for like in regards to talent, don't we? It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. Shah, we need to experience Bruno vital to that at the moment. Yep. We need more players, definitely. Absolutely, we need more players. Definitely. Big up, Steve. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're good. Great. Sell Bruno, collect the money. And what do we think teams are going to do when we want to buy players? Bam, 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 bam. Steve-O's got it right. Steve-O's on the page. He's up there. Steve-O is up there. He's on the ball, Steve-O. Big up, Steve-O. There you go. The leak. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when these rumors get spread, and if the likes of Al Hilal, right, spend, let's say Al Hilal, for argument's sake, right? Let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say Al Hilal spend 150 million on Bruno. Every single club in Europe are going to know that we have 100 million in the bank. And that's what's going to go. So what's going to happen there? So you'll be looking at, you know what I mean, certain players, Cunha, 60 million? No, you give us 70. You know what I mean? Trincao is going to be 38 million. Oh, no, give us 58. You know, it's going to be like that at the end of the day because they know. Thankfully, hopefully, we've got a new board of directors that are apparently really good at their job at negotiating and stuff like that. The likes of Vivell and Wilcox, you know, and Barada, they're supposed to be really good at negotiating things and stuff. Really good business people. So let's hope that they know that we're not going to get held to ransom. I hate saying that held to ransom thing. I really do. I hate saying held to ransom because we've heard that many, many times in the past, haven't we? Definitely. Ephraim, we need experienced players. We do not need many young players. I think, Ephraim, if I'm being totally honest, my friend, I think we got enough young players to go. I think we got enough young players. I think we've got a very good crop of young players coming through. I don't think we need any more. I think we need to start looking at more experienced players. Hopefully, Man United win this Europa League. And if we win this Europa League, Man United could go on and sign a few more experienced players to go in there. Now, it is said about Osimhen is very interested in a move to Manchester United. It is said that Victor Osimhen would request a fee of around 12 million euros per year. Wow. But he said the Manchester United project is very interesting to him. But it has to be interesting for us as well. But I would love Victor Osimhen at Manchester United. And it obviously depends if Manchester United get Champions League football. But this week, Manchester United have rumoured that they are the replacement as the striker will be Gutierrez. If Man United get Champions League football, the striker will be Gutierrez. I'm not surprised by that because it is obviously Ruben Amorim territory. But there are a number of other teams who are interested in Gutierrez. So if Gutierrez doesn't sign for Manchester United, if Manchester United win the Europa League, don't be surprised if Manchester United go after the likes of Victor Osimhen and players like that, of course. Irfan, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Big up yourself, brother. I hope you're doing well. Sal, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Please, everyone, can you smash the like? Thank you so much. Big up, Grayo. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not working today. You need a rest, mate. You need a rest. Shalom, Sal, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a tweet where someone said, Cheeto, get out of my club. The guys, I saw it, Shah, there's nothing getting past me. I responded to it, actually. And Shah, what I would say is that get out of my club. It's not their club at number one, right? When they're already, this is why I'm so fed up with a portion of this fan base because they're not fans. You know, they're egotistical maniacs, right? To my club. Get out of my club. What do you know about our club? What do you know about our club? What do you know about it? Tell me, what do you know about our club that you can talk about a 17-year-old player? 17. And because he didn't score a hat-trick, you want him at the club. This is the problem within this small section of the fan base, right? That dress the same, look the same, follow the same channels. They're all the same. right? And they have the same deadbeat opinion. They do not understand the soul. They do not understand the history. They do not understand the legacy of Manchester United. All they understand is sensationalist, ridiculous comments like that, which can only affect a young player. Right. And this is exactly what I've been saying for a long time about the likes of Garnacho. We had those chubby fellas standing outside Old Trafford and then criticizing one of our young players before a game, 14 minutes before a game. This is what they do. This is what they do. And this is how stupid they are. They don't understand about Man United. They've been supporting Man United for a very small period of time. They don't understand where we come from. When I started supporting Man United, and we had a drinking culture at the football club. There were drunks, big players turning up to training drunk. We had to change the whole culture at Man United. This is why Alex Ferguson said, right, if you don't get going, I'm going to bring those youngsters through. I'm going to bring the Beckhams and the Gary Nevilles and the Scholes and the Giggs. I'm going to bring them through. And they're waiting to take your place. And they did. Right? But one thing about young players is they have to be molded. They have to be nurtured. You have to look after them. They're not the finished article. I remember Cristiano Ronaldo, right? When he first signed for Manchester United. I remember when he first signed for Manchester United, he was called a one-trick pony, right? He was scoring 1 goal, 2 goals a season, right? And he was a substitute. There was rumors about him going on loan to Tottenham Hotspur, going on loan to other clubs around Europe, right? And back then, people were laughing. Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans were laughing at Cristiano Ronaldo and making fun of his stepovers, right? We all know how that ended, don't we? We always had, throughout our history, a fan base that were like a family, right? And we would always look after our young players, right? No matter how well he's performing, no matter how much you rate him, no matter what, we always would look after our young players. It was important. That was what Manchester United is about. And that's how Manchester United should be about. That's our DNA. Youth, courage, success. That is our DNA. The Busby Babes, 1958. That is our DNA. We never turn against our young players. Never. Now, Alex Ferguson used to do this, right? Okay? Alex Ferguson used to attack certain players for no reason, right? There was obviously Ryan Giggs. Let me give you an example of Ryan Giggs, right? Man United lost a game once. I've forgotten who the game was against. And Alex Ferguson went into the dressing room and he started giving it to Ryan Giggs. Not giving it, but, shouting at Ryan Giggs and saying, you got to do better. You should know better. You this, you that. This was like later on in Ryan Giggs' career. Obviously, Ryan Giggs played to 40. But he was saying this, that, and the other. And Ryan Giggs was like, what have I done? Why are you blaming me? Why did Alex Ferguson do that? Because he showed the younger players that nobody is untouchable at this football club. If Alex Ferguson's going to attack a great like Ryan Giggs, what chance do I have? There's a tactical way to talk about young players and to nurture young players, to nurture athletes, if you want them to become great players. You know what I mean? If you if you cook something and you turn the heater on full on, it's not going to cook from the inside. It's just going to crumble and taste bad, isn't it? That is the same with nurturing athletes and sports athletes. You have to give them, slowly bring them into the team. Unfortunately, we've got some clowns at our football club who are more interested in their opinion than actually Manchester United as a football club. That is the problem at our football club right now. They're more interested in worshipping their opinion than actually supporting the young player who's just come through. And I'll be honest with you, I saw some good things from Chido over the weekend. I saw some good things from him. He's 17 though, guys. What were you doing at 17? Unfortunately, everyone wants to look at Lamine Yamal. Everyone wants to say, oh, Lamine Yamal, 16, 17 years old, he's doing it. Number one, he's playing in a completely different league. Number two, if you want to go by that logic, right? David Beckham was on loan at Preston North End in the 3rd division at 21 years old. So you want to go by that logic. But James Milner was 16 years old when he's making his debut for Leeds and teams like that. So how do you work that out then? Do not paint everyone with the same brush. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. Everyone has different physiques. You cannot make, turn a player who has the physique of, for example, Jaap Stam or Nemanja Vidic into Messi. You're going to have to be patient with certain players. You have to be patient. You have to nurture those players and get them the experience that they need. Unfortunately, we are a toxic mess. Our club is a toxic mess, and it's full of people who don't want United to be successful. They want to be right. And that is where we get into dangerous ground, of course. Thank you so much, Shah. No, not my guy, Bruno. Big up Triple M. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Nice to see you. Now, who's more suitable for the number 10 role? Bueno or Cherki? Cherki. In my opinion, but it's subjective. So you wouldn't have a problem with Bruno Sal if the money was reinvested in the squad? Absolutely not, Almac. And not only reinvested in the squad, if it was reinvested properly in the squad with talent. And I would look, Almac, if Man United sold Bruno, let's say 100 million, right? And we signed Cherki and Cunha, wouldn't you be happy? That, you know what I mean? Sometimes we have to look at things. You can't just look at things in a way that, you know what, we're going to be, oh my God, we can't get any worse than we are right now. I mean, we're doing bad anyway in regards to the league position and stuff like that. We can't get as bad as we are right now, can we? So at the end of the day, no one is untouchable. Big up, Grayo. Have a great day at work, my friend. Take it easy. Take it easy. And don't work too hard. If it's 150 million pounds for Bruno, I'm 100% taking the cash, but replacements are going to be tough. It's going to be tough, bro, Kenny. This is the risk, isn't it? We're going to have to take punts on certain players. We're going to have to take risks on certain players. This is what it's going to be, isn't it? You know, it's all well and good saying, yeah, we're setting the money. Let's take the money. But you know what? We have to understand that, you know, these players have to be replaced, and they have to be replaced with the same talent, which is going to be incredibly difficult to do. Because off our head right now, who is as good as Bruno right now in Europe in regards to attacking midfielder, you know? And I think Inaki Winners is injured. He was left out of the squad in Ephraim. I wouldn't say 100% that he's injured. They might be resting him for Thursday, of course. But Athletic Bilbao still feel that they have a very good chance of getting through against Manchester United. Manchester United won the game 3-0. So Athletic Bilbao have to win the game by 3 goals or more to get through. But well, they have to get 3 goals. They have to win by 3 goals to get it to penalty shootout. They have to get 4 goal win for them to go through. Man United don't do that sort of thing. And I don't think that Athletic Bilbao are going to go to Old Trafford and rack up 3 goals like that. I think Man United, the most important thing for Man United to do is that when that game starts, just pick them off. Let them come at us and just pick them off, counter-attack them, and hopefully we will win the game. Hopefully, of course, guys, absolutely. And Man United, if the impossible happened, and God forbid, you know, if Man United end up going out of the Europa League, then you know what, that will be an absolutely diabolical situation, wouldn't it? But I don't think it will happen. Absolutely not. Famous last words. How does Bruno have on his contract? I think he has 2 years. If I'm not wrong, let me just double check that. Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno's contract expires in 2027. Yeah, it's 2 years. 2 years left on his contract, my friend. 2 years left in his contract. Did you hear Arsene Wenger's quotes regarding the automatic Champions League qualification, winning the Europa League trophy? Sounded really salty. I mean, Kenny, let me talk about Arsene Wenger, right? Arsene Wenger is king of the 4th place trophy. Arsene Wenger said you should be given a trophy for finishing 4th place. That is where that guy's mentality is. And now he's talking about you shouldn't qualify for the Champions League if you actually win a trophy. Is this guy dumb? Is he dumb? Because I genuinely think he's going dementia or something. Because I'm telling you right now, this guy, right, got knocked out of the Europa League by Atletico Madrid over 2 legs. And he was talking about what a great thing at that time for the Europa League to be Champions League qualification because you win a trophy back then. But now, all of a sudden, because Man United are concerned and everyone hates Man United, everyone is saying that, you know what, oh, it shouldn't be Champions League qualifications because Champions League teams didn't drop into it. Now, let me tell you something about that. Man United have already won the Europa League when the Champions League team dropped into it. So, you know what I mean? I don't think you should be rewarded for failure. You shouldn't be dropping into the Europa League if you failed in the Champions League. That is it. That is your bread and butter. You got knocked out. That's it. right? Now, I believe that you win the Europa League, it should be a step up, especially Manchester United, who didn't only win the Europa League, didn't only qualify for the Europa League. They qualified for the Europa League by winning the FA Cup and beating Man City. So Man United have earned their corn. They haven't only just gone into the Europa League by finishing 8th place. They've gone into the Europa League by winning the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? And this is the problem. If we win the Europa League, we would have won 2 trophies to get into the Champions League. Now, we don't deserve to get into the Champions League. Most other teams in Europe, that would be their golden generation. That would be their golden era if they'd done that. You know what I mean? Football, there should be an incentive to win trophies. You should be rewarded for winning trophies. That's how it should be. Arsene Wenger, I expected more from Arsene Wenger, but then again, I'm not surprised with the Arsenal bitterness because all I'm seeing, the majority, 90% is bitter Arsenal tears. Bitter Arsenal tears that Manchester United can come 15th in the league and qualify for the Champions League. Not only that, Tottenham could also, if they do it. God forbid, but if they do it. So Arsenal are in a very precarious position where they will win nothing and Man United or Tottenham could win something. And Chelsea will win the Conference League. Chelsea will win the Conference League. Man United will win the the Europa League. Man City will win the FA Cup. There you go. It's up to you, Arsenal. Why don't concentrate on your own team and go to Paris and win like we did twice? Win like we did twice. We went to Paris. We overtook a lead. We were losing the home leg. Worse than you. 2-0. 2-0. We were losing in the first leg and we won 3-1 and we went through an away goal. So why don't you go to Paris and stop talking and try and win the game rather than thinking about us and being obsessed with Man United? Because it is an obsession, isn't it? It's an illness at the end of the day. Irfan, a struggling team without star players are less attractive for sponsors, fans, and even future players. The momentum could also be effective. Irfan, absolutely. You know, these players have to be replaced. It's not easy. And I don't think there's anyone out there who can at the moment. Shah, the guy that made the top 4 trophy. Yeah, prat. Absolutely. He's a prat. I mean, how can you talk about that? The hypocrisy that is oozing out of these people's mouths is absolutely diabolical. Diabolical, should I say. Just imagine we get Europa League, but we get Delap. If that happens, I don't want to even think about that, Shah, but let's just say Man United are in the Europa League final, right? We most likely 80% chance, 70, 80% chance that we're going to play Tottenham Hotspur. I wish we played Bodo Glimt. I hope we play Bodo Glimt, but it is looking at Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur could have the likes of Solanke and Maddison and Son out of their squad for the Man United game in the Europa League final. Look, we got our own injuries. We haven't got Dalot. We haven't got obviously Xerxes. We haven't got Xerxes playing. Of course, he's injured as well. We haven't got Licha Martinez as well. So we've got our own problems within our squad. Of course, we got our own injury problems. De Ligt, that one's not looking pretty at the moment as well. So we got our own problems going on at the moment. You know what I mean? So, you know what? But I would say that if we get to the final of the Europa League and we play Tottenham, when that Tottenham team step up side by side against Manchester United, they're going to see Casemiro 5 European Cups. They're going to see Bruno, who's won trophies. You know what I mean? They're going to see players there who've won trophies. Who have Tottenham got to look at themselves, look at their left, look at their right, and say, you're a winner, you're a winner. They've got no one. So Man United, if we get to the final, which I hope we will, right, we should be able to win that. And we should be able to get to the Champions League. Ephraim, people said, because Manchester United finished at the bottom of the table, they do not deserve to be Champions League. Who cares what they think? I am astonished, Ephraim, astonished by the salty tears and the total hatred that Manchester United still get to this day. They still hate us. They spent the whole week talking about Man United shouldn't get Champions League football. Now, Arsenal fans talking about Champions League football, like I said, it's a bit like Eric Ten Hag talking about shampoo. Eric Ten Hag has no hair, right? That is what it's like. They don't have any European trophies. So why are they talking about the credentials of European football when you don't have any European trophies? When the likes of Tottenham, West Ham, Chelsea have more European trophies that currently exist than you. So I don't think you should be really talking about what Europe is and stuff like that at the end of the day. I don't think an Arsenal fan should really be talking about the birds and the bees when it comes to European football. Maybe they need to concentrate on their level, which is actually winning a European trophy, rather than being neck and neck with Leyton Orient and teams like that in regards to European trophies. Do you know what I mean? Because that is what it is at the end of the day. Arsene is a Wenger. He is, absolutely. There you go. Big up. Gladiator, what's going on, my friend? Garnacho is hate as unreal. He's only 21 in a shit squad. You know what I would say, Gladiator, and thank you for bringing that point into the show, because it's a very good point. And I really like that comment, because at the end of the day, again, young players. You know what I mean? Young players are nurtured. I'm seeing a lot of good from Garnacho lately. I'm seeing a lot. I mean, he made an assist and a goal. That goal was brilliant, by the way, at the weekend against Brentford. I would say that some of the criticism has been forced. It's been overly sensationalized. What people don't quite grasp is that many of the players, the young players that are coming to our team, have been thrown into the deep end in a toxic environment, right? In a team that is starved of what we should be, which is title challenges and Champions League. The toxicity, playing in front of 77,000 every single week, it must be astronomical. And this is actually earlier in the show when I spoke about Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson wouldn't go after the young player. Even if the experienced player had a good game, he'll go after the experienced player. He wouldn't do that. We as a fan base should be going after the experienced players, not the players like Garnacho, who people think it's easy to do. Like I was going in on Eriksen yesterday. I said Eriksen's too slow. Eriksen's ineffective. Why do I say that? Because he's the experienced player in our squad. You know what I mean? And if you're going to be an experienced player, you should be an example to the young players. Garnacho's improving. We have to be careful with him. We have to be careful. He has been thrown in the deep end. But one thing about Garnacho, which I can't say about every single team in this squad, is he's always available. The best form of ability is availability. Absolutely. Yale, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We're 15th with a Bruno who collected almost 40 points. If we remove Bruno for the team, where would we be? Yale, if football's not that simple, I would say that. It could change. Goals might be spread out a little bit more. Look, you have to look at things not simplistic. That it's like this, right? Man United beat Arsenal by 10 men, right? Arsenal beat, let's say they beat Bournemouth 5-0, or they beat someone like that 5-0. So does that mean that we can beat them 5-0 as well? It's not like that. Football's not simplistic like that. We don't deal with simplicity. Sometimes you remove a player that you love, but it makes the whole team get, as a team, they feel more pressure to get better. It could happen. Maybe not. Maybe it will. But it's not quite like that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. It's a lot of money, isn't it, Charlie? It is a lot of money, but he's a good player. I think we deserve that contract. He is a world striker's Ephraim. Yeah. I mean, I think that Man United can only do that deal if Man United get in the Champions League, which is by winning the Europa League. Absolutely. What is wrong with that person? Cheeto is super talent and should be treated as that. Honestly, Yale, can I be honest with myself, ourselves? Can we be honest? I think they're mentally deranged. I think they're egotistical maniacs. I think they don't understand what it is to be a successful. I don't know what they think what it is to be a young player. I don't think they understand football in general when they're attacking Cheeto. I don't understand, mate, honestly. FM, if they had no patience on young players, go and support another club. Absolutely. And that is what Man United are about. If you don't understand what we are about, go and support other club. Do you think Cunha is as good as United fans think he is? Is hype surrounding him justified? Almac, can I be honest with you? I don't know. I'll be honest, Almac, I'm not going to say that yes, he is or no, he isn't. Because I look at Cunha and I see a talented player. Is he the right player for Man United? This is what they get paid the big bucks to do, isn't it? Ineos, with Wilcox and Berardi and people like that. What I would say, and I'll be honest, Almac, right? I'm always honest with you, Almac, you know me. What I would say is that he hasn't shown me right? Wow. He hasn't shown me like, my goodness me, what a player he is. Wow. That's just my opinion. All right? That's just my opinion. Not to say he won't be, but I just don't think he's shown me the levels like, oh my goodness me, what I've seen in my life, like Rooney, like Cantona, like Berbatov, like these type of players. You know what I mean? I come from a different generation, and I mean, I have levels. You know what I mean? And I just think like he reminds me of a player that we wouldn't be interested in the 90s. And that is just it. But we'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong. Who are we buying? There's the $1 million question, GK. There you go. Let's have it right. Yamal would struggle in the Premier League despite his talent. There you go, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. Kenny knows ball. Kenny on the ball. Who's on the ball? Kenny's on the ball. Kenny is on the ball. He's on the ball, Kenny. Big up, Kenny. Who killed Kenny? Why did they kill Kenny? Because Kenny knows ball and they don't like it. Absolutely. There you go, Kenny. Thank you so much, Kenny. You're absolutely right. The Premier League is a different level. Now, I don't want Arsenal to get the Champions League final. If Arsenal get the Champions League final, I'm going to hibernate and become a monk because I don't like Arsenal, right? But let me tell you something. If Arsenal get to the Champions League final, that would mean Arsenal in the Champions League final, Man United in the Europa League final, and Chelsea would be in the Conference League final. People want to talk about the Premier League. The weakest Premier League I can remember, and look at that. There you go. All players are not. I mean, absolutely, Ephraim, spot on, mate. Spot on, of course. But other fans would make such a statement like OB for clickbaits. I mean, look, Fan, I don't even think it's clickbait because a lot of them are not content creators. A lot of them are not people who of obviously social media people or journalists and things like that. Some of them are genuine fans, and what I've noticed is an overriding similarity between new school fans and older fans, right? And I don't quite believe that they understand what this football club is about. Anyone who is attacking Chido Obi Martin, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll look you dead in the eye, we don't want you at this football club. You are just as much as a problem as the Glazers. We don't want you. We don't want you. You're not wanted. The players don't like you. The club don't like you. Get out of the football club. We don't want you anymore. If you're going to attack the young players like that, we don't want you. You're not wanted. You know what I mean? Go away. You know what I mean? And that's it. Just shoot. Get out of here. And that's what I would say. I wonder how Lamine Yamal would do in the Premier League. Think he'd be the same as it now? Is it different? I think it'd be different, mate. It's a completely different world. What I would, to give you an example, Shah. Let me give you an example. Look at Anthony's goal. It's a great goal, Anthony, at the weekend. But we know in the Premier League, would Anthony get that space to cut in and shoot like that? He wouldn't, would he? So when you look at the likes of Lamine Yamal, yeah, they're great players. But will they be, will they be as good in the Premier League? I don't think so. FIFA and Football Manager's game has definitely influenced a lot of generations. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. They think that things are so simple, right? I used to play a 2D game called Championship Manager. So, you know what I mean? And but the thing with Championship Manager, they used to be accurate. Championship Manager predicted the rise of Lamine Yamal years ago. And they used to be quite active. And to be honest with you. These people play games, and what it is that a lot of them, when they lose football matches, when their club loses football matches, they get bullied at school or they get bullied at college, wherever it is, and they get upset. And a lot of them have got egotistical things going on. They got these delusions of grandeur, delusions of grandeur, should I say? Not delusions of ganja. You don't want ganja. You don't do ganja. Delusions of grandeur, it's called. It means that you believe something that is not true. It's like me believing that I'm Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? And I am Brad Pitt, and I'm going out the door, and I'm Brad Pitt. Unfortunately, these days, people promote I could be anything. I could be a Mr. I could be a Mrs. I could be a you know what I mean? I myself can be a lesbian if I want to be a lesbian. And that is how life is these days. This is how life goes on. You know what I mean? I can walk into my workplace and say, listen, mate, get up. I'm the manager today. I identify as a manager today. And that is the problem with them. Maybe they've identified as the world's most intelligent football analyst. I don't know. Maybe they've identified themselves as that. I don't know. But you know what? Maybe that's what's killing them when they're wrong. It's killing them. And they're like, no, I can't be wrong. It must be them. It must be the player. It must be him. When I was 17, right, at the end of the day, imagine you're 17 and you're brought into a football club, the biggest football club in the world, and your task is to score goals for that football club who is distinctively lacking goals. Distinctively lacking goals. Imagine the pressure on that player, a 17-year-old, especially if you miss one or two chances. You know what I mean? Garnacho surprised me versus Brentford. I've never seen him play with so much energy, chasing the ball out. I totally agree with that, Irfan. That's a very good comment, Irfan. Spot on. And I think he had a good game. One of my man of the matches, definitely. Wasn't many to choose from, but anyway. To be fair, Kenny, most young generations cannot really handle Football Manager. The game is too slow for them. They don't have the intelligence. I mean, people are much more intelligent when I was younger. Sorry. Johnny, I would sell Bruno, but not this summer, to be honest. We are selling Garnacho, Rashford, and Sancho both probably go. I don't think Garnacho's going, Johnny. Hoyland too. We should make the money that we are delayed, the Bruno sale. Rashford will be gone. Sancho will be gone. Anthony will be gone. Garnacho's not going anywhere. And remember, you heard it here first. Hoyland, there is interest from Juventus in regards to Rasmus Hoyland, but Rasmus Hoyland needs to fetch 42 million for him to comply with FFP and PSR. So if Man United don't get up to about 42 million, we would lose out on PSR and FFP, which in turn affect our transfer dealings this summer, of course. Also, Amram is just let Bilbao attack us and can just absolutely, Johnny. That would be my my approach. That would be my approach, 100%. I don't even think the argument is dumb. However, my issue is they are bringing because the Spurs can get it. The argument is dumb, mate. It is dumb. The argument is dumb. When you're going out and saying that fourth place should be given a trophy, right? But the Europa League shouldn't be given a Champions League spot. It's dumb. It's dumb. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, why should you be rewarded for finishing fourth when you already get Champions League football, when it shouldn't be anyway, but you already get Champions League football and be rewarded with a trophy as well. But winning the actual Europa League, where you have, and then winning a trophy, you don't get rewarded nothing. Remember, one second. Sorry, guys, I lost you there for a second. Charlotte, remember Wenger lost the Euro to have Lego 2018 as well? Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the show, Shah. I mentioned it earlier in the show, yeah. Amram don't set his team up for counterattacks. No, he doesn't. But one thing we can do is relax. Let them attack us and we can pick them off. He'd be smart to do that. It'd be easy as well. Because it's Man United, the pundits are shivering. They win it and they get Champions League when we're 15th. Not only that, we get a European trophy as well. Arsenal Wenger, Arsenal. Wenger has been the first boss to lose the UEFA finals. I mean, that guy needs to concentrate on having 30 years in the football and never winning the Champions League. That's what he needs to concentrate on, is actually winning a European trophy at the end of the day. I don't like playing versus an English side in the European final. I don't know why. Because we are familiar, Shah. I agree with you with that, Shah. I agree, because we are familiar with each other. We don't like. I didn't want to play Chelsea. I didn't want to play Arsenal when we played them in the semi. I mean, even though that was lovely, wasn't it, when we played Arsenal? But it's because of familiarity and it adds that extra spice. You know what I mean? This will be Bruno's biggest trophy in his career, which is crazy. It is crazy. He deserves more. If we score first, we are through. What do you think? Beef bully? Yes. Yes. We should be, that's for sure. Leeson, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. They're afraid of us and are slowly coming back to our best. That's why they hate us here. Leeson, big up. Love that. Absolutely agree with that. Almac Cunha is the highest scoring Brazilian in the single Premier history. He also gets quite a few assists. He's crazy good. Crazy good is a different story when I'm talking about the 90s, which I was. Being crazy good for Wolves is a bit like Kevin Phillips scoring 40 goals for Sunderland, isn't it? You know what I mean? But he was never good enough for Man United. We have to wait and see. I think Amorim can't adapt to the intensity and pressure of the EPL. 12 losses in 24 matches is unacceptable for any manager, regardless of the players. Europa win doesn't matter. United Arena, thank you for the most dumbest comment of the night. Big respect, though. How do you expect a manager to come in midway through the season with a distinctive style of play, who doesn't have any of these players, who has off-field issues, including Rashford and Anthony, etc., getting rid of 3 players, bringing in 1 player, and expect him to do wonders at this team? Come and explain to me. I've been a fan for 40 years. You know what I mean? United Arena family. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right? I've been a United fan for 40 years. And you know what? I've actually seen success. You know, I know what it takes to be successful. I don't know if you've been there, but writing off a manager who hasn't had these tools, you're like sending him into a sword fight with a breadstick, basically. That is what you're doing. And then you're expecting him to win. How do you expect to do that with a team that was already underperforming? Come on, man. Ding, 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 ding. Brighten up. Brighten yourself. Liven up yourself, as Bob Marley once said. Absolutely. Absolutely, Johnny. Spot on. Almac. It's over place of Bruno. Which one player, with one player, couldn't we bring in players that collectively make the team better? Less individual brilliance and more systematic chance of vocation. Absolutely. Sometimes, Almac, it's not about bringing in one player that is incredibly good. And it is about bringing in players that fit the team. Like, for example, you remember when Man United signed Carrick? How many people thought Carrick was going to be the player that he was? And he was, wasn't he? World class. Who would become our captain, though? Because the only one person I thought, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, if I knew those players face to face, I would definitely do that. Is Harry having a performances only to get his contract extension? We've seen many United players doing that this recently. Absolutely. That we'll have to wait and see, Gladiator King, in regards to that. I agree. We need a collective performance, but we need players who can score from nothing. Absolutely. Right. Oli, with no previous managerial experience, took over a divided dress for a mid-season 10 matches. He also had 300 million United Arena family. He also had 300 million. He also played counter-attacking football, which affects Man United to this day, right? He played counter-attacking football, which is an easy style of football, right? And one overriding thing, he won nothing, right? At the end of the day, he had more effect on Man United than positive things on Man United. Listen, you cannot test this channel. Right? You cannot test this channel. He played a counter-attacking football, right? That works easy, right? It's easy to do, okay? He had 300 million. I have to repeat myself, you know what I mean? He had 300 million spent on him. How much is Ruben Amorim? 0. Because let me tell you something about Dorgu. Dorgu was wanted in the summer. Eric Ten Hag wanted Dorgu. They already had him on the list. So he hasn't had no one. Goodness me. Oh, God, blimey. Oh, goodness me. I've seen Cunha disappear in matches. I think he's a moody player, not always easy to play with. We have plenty of number 10s, but 2 number 9s. Story. We have to wait and see, don't we? We have to wait and see. Cunha is a brilliant player. Definitely fits our system. He could be. You know what I would say? Oi, Majestic. Careful with Cantona. Careful with Cantona. Cantona, no. Do not compare any player with Cantona. Don't. Let's wait and see, Majestic. Calm down. I mean, let's wait and see at the end of the day. Let's wait and see. Big up, Majestic. Ole went on to win absolutely 0 trophies. Second place finish was less of a title charge than Arsenal's here. Absolutely, man. I mean, I've given up with these people. Cunha is overrated, says Erfan. I know Erfan loves Trincao. Absolutely. Big up Breaking Dawners. Big up Stephanie. How you doing, my friend? 44 likes. Good to see you. Good to see everyone, of course. Morning, Stephanie. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. of course. Football Manager is accurate as well. Football Manager came and that took over from Championship Manager. Yale, I think Championship Manager is next level. And I'll give you an example. They still got players that Football Manager isn't even clocked onto. If you get the updates. If they are getting Cunha and Mbeumo, are they going to turn Mbeumo into a... If they are really going to get in Cunha and Mbeumo, are they going to turn Mbeumo into a striker because he isn't really a creator? I don't know, mate. I don't know about Mbeumo, I'll be honest, guys. Absolutely. Ignore. Shallow Hal. Great film, by the way. Shallow Sal. No way. Big up, Stephanie. Shallow Sal. There we go. Here we go. United family. Sack the manager now. He's not good enough. Sack the manager now. Like sack Ten Hag. Like sack Ruben Amorim. Like sack Eric Ten Hag. Like sack Louis van Gaal. Like sack Jose Mourinho. Like sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why don't we just keep doing that? Why don't you use your intelligence, if you've got any, and realize that the problems stem from the top rather than keep sacking managers and doing deja vu? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, sack the manager now. I mean, what you should do is go onto Saeed's channel with the Biani and all that, sitting in a little room, right, with loads of men, too many men, and then, you know what I mean, make your comments on there, because maybe it might be welcome in that dead channel. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I could see a loan for Højlund this year with obligation. Johnny. Oh, I didn't mean fourth place stuff. No, that dumb, of course. Big up, Johnny. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Big up, Johnny. Trophies are the only currency that matters, Stephanie. Big up, absolutely. Trophies are for egos, he said, didn't he? Trophies are egos. Sorry, United family, I can't respond to stupidity. I've got too much. I'm already going over. That's even though I've criticized Bruno in the past, he's warrant me to him and I don't like agendas. I don't like people don't use their intelligence on football. They use sinister reasons to dislike someone. Absolutely. And let me tell you something, United Arena family. Let me tell you something that my advice to you as a fan of nearly 40 years. I've seen it. I've done it. I've won the T-shirt. I've done everything, right? I've seen Champions Leagues. I've seen doubles. I've seen trebles. I've seen it all. I've seen the Beckhams. I've seen the Scholes. I've seen the Cantonas. Let me tell you something. Your advice, my advice to you will be listen more and talk less. All right? And you might actually learn something in regards to football. Okay? That's what I would say to you. Because at the moment, you come from a generation that wants success now. I want it now. I won't want anyone sack the manager. Forgetting about the same players are there. The same players are there that got other managers sacked. Right? So you want to sack the manager again. If this went to the court of law and we had O.J. Simpson's lawyer as our lawyer, it would still be the players are guilty, not the manager. Because at the end of the day, evidence suggests that, doesn't it? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Absolutely. Johnny. Hey, Sir Alex had something similar going on for him in the first season. He did not do well. Look, it did absolutely. But these people, if they were around in the Sir Alex Ferguson early days, Alex Ferguson would have been sacked by their notion, by their reality, and we would have missed out on all that success. Absolutely unbelievable. Big up, Johnny. Much love. I get you, man. I get you, my friend. I get you. Absolutely. Maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror before you slay Amorim. Maybe he needs to get a book of football knowledge, football for dummies, and read that. Maybe he needs to do that. Maybe that. And he might get there. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. You absolute legends. I've gone over my time. But guys, thank you so much. Please don't forget to put the notifications on. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well, guys. Even United family, if he knows how to do that. Guys, thank you so much. And have a great day, great night, great morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. I'm Sal Warner. And this is Breaking Dawn, of course. Big up everyone, of course. Thank you so much. Let me just read through a couple of comments. Kenny, Ole was a rookie despite being backed by the board, bottled every cup finals, not buying into this. I mean, we know, Kenny, we know. It's hard to squeeze water out of a stone. And by what that I mean is that squeezing knowledge out of something is so hard in the head. So that's what I would say in regards to that. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I'll see you later, hopefully. Keep your notifications on. Peace.